Today we're going to make crowded granola. We're going to start by measuring the oil. We have half a cup of flax oil. You can choose any oil you want for this, as long as the flavor is not too strong or it's a flavor that you like if it is strong. And then we're also going to add a half a cup of olive oil, and in my case I'm just going to use the rest of what's in the container. It's not going to hurt anything to have a little bit extra oil. Make sure that your oil isn't rancid. Rancid oil is toxic. Then I'm going to use one stick of butter. I'm going to pour that in the pan and let the butter start melting. I like to do the oil first because then it coats the measuring cup, and the sweetener, whether you use sorghum or honey or maple syrup or whatever you happen to use, if it's a liquid sweetener, will come out of the measuring cup much easier because the oil has lined it. I'm using sorghum here, and it's very difficult to get out of the container because it's a little too cold still. It hasn't quite warmed up enough. It's like honey. And then some sweet molasses. Add some extra minerals and molasses flavor. We do like the molasses flavor. Then I'm going to put that in with the butter and the oil and get it all warm and melted. Now I'm going to add some vanilla, about a tablespoon. And depending upon how much you like almond flavor, I'm adding a teaspoon. Quarter teaspoon is plenty for some people if they don't like so much of the flavor. And then some salt to help bring out the flavors. Not too much salt, depending upon your salt levels in your chemistry. If you have a high salt, you can leave the salt out completely. Make it a salt-free. Then I'm going to add 3 different grains. We have oats and barley and rye. I like to use a blend, but if you only have oats, that works just fine also. And here we have some seeds. I believe those were sesame. And some bran. All of these little additions just help add to the nutritional value of your finished granola. This is some more bran, some oat and rice. And then here's going to add some sunflower seeds. 2 cups of sunflower seeds. Just doesn't seem like it's granola if there's no sunflower seeds in it. They're also high in manganese. It's a good thing, good addition, and children can handle it. And there's a cup of almonds slivered. And some coconut. Now if you have children under 8, make sure you leave the almonds out unless you've boiled them soft first and let them cool down. Children's digestion isn't strong enough for nuts until they're 8 years old. And we're going to stir it up. And Shelby's going to help me add the liquid ingredients to the granola mix. And yes, we cook in our coats too. We don't always get in cooking attire just to help out in the kitchen. The kids were out having a bonfire while I was making their granola. I'm going to stir it up real quick. It takes a few minutes to get this stirred up to where all the granola is moistened. Then spread it out on cookie sheets. This batch takes 3 cookie sheets because it's a rather large batch. And I suggest baking it slow at 200 to 250 degrees in the oven, stirring every 5 to 7 minutes. And rotating the pans so that the heat is evenly distributed. And you'll know when it's done because it'll turn a golden brown. All the pieces will be starting to turn golden. If you overcook granola, which I did do on this batch, I overcooked some of it. I was out enjoying the bonfire with the kids. It will overcook very, very easily if you have the temperature in the oven up too high. And if you're okay with that, it's still safe to eat unless you burn it. But it does change the flavor a little bit. And from what I've noticed, if you overcook it, it keeps it from making the chunks that my kids like so much. They don't like granola if it's separated. They like it if it's all chunky. I'm going to add a couple raisins after it's done cooking. If you add the raisins before you cook it, they'll end up hard as a rock. Give that a stir and test the temperature. When it cools off a little bit more, then I'll put it away. I'm going to speed through this process too. It's repetitive, just getting it put in the jar for storage. You can store granola in the freezer. It stores just great in the freezer for several months. Or if you're going to eat it right away, just store it in the cupboard with the rest of your cereals. Granola comes in handy for many different purposes. It makes a great topping for desserts or your breakfast fruit, yogurt. You can even make a nice snack. Grab some out of the jar and have a snack instead of some potato chips or something that's a little more high fat. And there you have it. Homemade granola. Crowded granola.